Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Louisa and I make more videos on my kind of like high protein carnivore way of eating, but also all of kind of like the tips I'm getting, the insights I'm getting as I recently became a certified life coach. So for example, I'm also sharing about these kind of experience that I've got and I'm like inspired to share with others. I would like to talk today about specifically the difference between high fat, going for a high fat diet versus a high protein diet. I have an experience of doing both. I come from a keto way of eating. First, I was following back in the days a more American standard diet, consuming a lot of carbs, a lot of bread, a lot of refined sugar, processed foods. Then I changed my diet to a more keto approach. And now eventually I'm now in this state where I am just really focused on basically mostly organic food and focused on high protein. If you are curious about following any way of eating, please continue on watching and also please do not forget to subscribe because it really supports my channel to grow. So focusing on the high fat diet is really focusing on a diet where your body gets into ketosis, which is a metabolic state where you're actually consuming mainly fats and moderate protein and moderate carbs. It keeps your body in a fat burning state. A lot of people think still that fat makes you fat, but it's the contrary because fat is actually a great source of great micronutrients, but it keeps you satisfied and it's perfect and it's an amazing source for your hormones. With a high fat approach, specifically if you're going for a keto approach, you're very focusing on the high fat, moderate protein. You are not very sure about the amount of carbs you need to consume. You just keep it very low, but you're mainly just focusing on making sure that your body has a lot of fat. Easy way to get a lot of fats in comes from eating a lot of butter, but also it comes from nuts, it comes from avocado, and it comes from fish. When I was doing a more keto approach, I was consuming a lot of avocado, a lot of nuts, and still a lot of fish, and having my bulletproof coffee, which is like a butter coffee, which I'm still having in the morning. It kept me definitely full for hours, keeps me satisfied. It also helped with my hormones. I was suffering with PCOS. I had a lot of gut problems. So definitely that helps a lot if you're if you're dealing with hormonal issues, if you feel that your hair is falling out, if you feel that your skin is not as is optimal best, then going for a high fat approach is very good for your overall health. However, I did notice that I was still feeling very bloated. This comes from vegetables I was still eating, and it comes probably from all the nuts that I was still eating. Going high protein, on the other hand, is really focusing on making sure that you at least have 1 pound of your body weight times the grams that you should eat in terms for protein. So let's say if you're 150 pounds, it will mean that you will need at the end of the day 150 grams of protein. So this is very, I would say, an easy way to measure it. And you would eat less fat, obviously, because most of your calories comes from the protein, and you will also eat less carbs. A lot of things with the keto, especially with a high fat approach, especially I had that as well in the beginning. I was very focused on keeping my protein low because I was scared to still go in a glucose state, because if you're consuming too much protein, your body can create the protein. If it's an overdose, the protein can change to glucose. So in the beginning, I was very afraid of that. So I kept the protein very low, but I've also noticed that keeping the protein low, we need the proteins. We need the proteins for our muscles, for our strength, but also we need to prepare and repair our body. We need protein. So overall, going back to keto, I mean, having your body going from let's say, a standard American diet to keto, it's gonna benefit you so much. you will realize that you can actually learn a lot about the body and how your body reacts to it instead of just shutting off your body, right? Like listen to your body. And it helped me to listen more to my body, to see and to feel if something that I'm eating is actually benefiting my overall health. So definitely a way of high fat keto helped me a lot for my overall health and for my energy. However, focusing and switching it to a animal protein, really like focusing, making sure that I have enough protein in, it not only helped me with optimizing even my energy, I also felt that my hormones were more stable. I feel I have less sugar cravings because obviously, if you're doing a keto, you're still going to eat a lot of nuts and you can do it. You can overdo it easily on the nuts. You can overdo it easily on these delicious paleo or keto snacks. So yes, it is also, of course, a matter of preference. But for me, I like to have a simplicity in my head to be like, okay, I don't need to think about all the different type of meals, all these different type of recipes. I can keep it very simple. I know my butcher in Ibiza. I know what I have, and it's for me at least a way of simplify my brain and focus on the things that I want to accomplish during the day of work or of being a mother to my son. As mentioned, is really a matter of preference. If you have any questions so far, feel free just to send them in the DM or send me an email. What I've also noticed is that my digestion, my bloatiness, I come from a very prior to keto, I was a lot of time bloated. That definitely helps with keto, but I feel focusing on high protein, that even helps like even way more. I feel less bloated. I just only have this feeling of floatiness during my menstrual cycle, but that's about it. So should I say go for high fat or should you go for protein? At the end, this is very individualistic. It depends on what you need. Are you feeling that you are having a lot of cravings? Fat can definitely help with that. Go then for optimal meat with more fat on it. For example, entrecôte or ribeye has more fat in general. So this is a great protein fat ratio for you to thrive. So a great way really is just to listen to your body. Don't go too extreme. Don't do, for example, only fat or only protein. Go for the optimal way where it's more in balance, where you would not be like, okay, I'm overdoing it on the fat. I'm adding cheese and butter and everything, or I'm overdoing it on the protein, not consuming any fat. So it's really about if you're going for meat, take some fatty meat. But then I also have days where I'm just focusing, I don't feel that I'm actually, like I need to have a lot of fat. I just feel like, okay, I'm actually feeling quite full. I don't want to feel, this feeling what sometimes fat can do to you. Like you feel like super satisfied. Then I just have a more lean protein option. As a start, what I would recommend as a start is just to go for the amount of protein and amount of fat, the same amount of protein and the same amount of fat as a start. This is just a simple way to simplify it, basically. So if you would consume, let's say, 150 grams of protein and also opt for the 150 grams of fat, just to keep it more in balance, and then go as you go, like learn by doing and see what feels best for you, and listen always to your own body. Don't get overwhelmed about everything what people are saying. Just do what feels best for you. Sometimes I have days where I can eat in the morning 4 or 5 eggs. Sometimes I have days where I just eat 2 eggs. It's like, it really depends on my mood. Sometimes I also feel that I'm more hungry regarding related to my menstrual cycle. So you just consume what you feel that you need instead of what an app is saying or what a person is saying to you. I also notice this is just a very side tip. If let's say your goal, it's a new year, your goal is to lose weight. Personally, from my own experience, I would focus on more protein. If you're more about healing your body, let's say hormonal, if you want to improve your overall health, your skin, your hair, you even want to kind of heal your body or even gain a little bit more of fat, I would focus on a bit more fat. So protein with extra fat. So keeping the fat protein, more fat, more protein. This is only based on my own experience. So that's just a disclaimer I want to make. It's that when I've noticed, sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm actually having some more hormonal issues. For example, this last month, December, we were in Brazil for 1 month. I will put some picture here. So crazy skin issues I had. Crazy. Like, we arrived in Brazil. I don't know what happened. I had like severe, like, I would say really like acne on my skin inside. I felt it. It hurt. It was so painful. And I don't know what's happening because I was, for sure, there was not something different really on my diet, but it was something internal: stress, sleep. And I was not focusing on these two. When I'm not fully focused on enough sleep and when I'm feeling more stressed than ever, I get it definitely on my skin. What did I do? Nothing crazy, taking it day by day, journaling a lot, writing my thoughts down, saying to myself, my skin is beautiful, I am beautiful, better days are coming for my skin, I feel it, I know it, instead of like constantly checking it and constantly being like, oh, this is ugly, this is ugly. I let it breathe. It was a horrible experience because I didn't felt, obviously, that in a way you want to hide it, right? So when we went to the beach, I don't want to put makeup when I go to the beach, but still I felt this insecurity about my skin. But what did I do? So we're talking about healing. I focused on making sure that I still was doing my butter coffee. I don't know what it is, but butter helps me a lot. Again, this is personal. Maybe you're more sensitive to butter. But for me, I had more routine. So I was like, over the last with Christmas and everything, it was not consistent. So I made sure that I was just having my butter coffee. I made sure that I was taking just the supplements that I've always been taking, which is omega-3, which is magnesium, and a hair, skin, nails supplement, all from Sogar. I mean, very easy, or you just can get it at Amazon, or even in your pharmacy. So I kept it in a set of thinking too broad and being like, oh, I need all these different things and I need to heal it. I would just basically kept it. I filtered it, and it was just more like, okay, I need to heal my body. I just need to focus on protein and some healthy fats, and not overdo it on the coffee, and sleep better and have less stress. Less stress. How can you do that? I mean, if you're like my boyfriend, having a very crazy busy job, how can you manage stress? Start by making sure you're exercising. Start by making sure you're hydrating enough. For example, in Brazil, I was not hydrating enough. And you would think that, like, you would think, oh, when you go to a warm country, but I don't know what happened. Like, sometimes life, right? Life just happens. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that it also comes like this, and you just kind of like rewrite a little bit your health journey and be like, okay, I need to focus on this again. I know I don't need to overstress or get obsessed with it, but something needs to change. So I'm just gonna maybe write down in my journal again what I'm consuming and seeing what I may be doing differently. So yes, that's just a little side note. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. And maybe you have a similar experience, or you want to share anything in the comments, I would love that. And it also just kind of like gives me a great insight on your journey, and if you're maybe feeling the same. So that would be very lovely to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.